Hey everyone, welcome to my channel, and as you can tell by the title of the video, this is basically a get ready with me. So what I'll be doing today is I'm going out for lunch with my gran, and I thought maybe let me take a video because I haven't taken a video in centuries, which I'm going to discuss while I'm doing my makeup. I'm terribly sorry about the lighting. I had sent an invitation out to the sun to come out today because I was supposed to be using natural lights, and the sun didn't come to the party, so now I don't have enough light. So hopefully when I edit the video, it will look much better than what it is now, or what I think it looks like while I'm recording this. So yeah, I'm sure a lot of people, I'm gonna start with my makeup now, so I'm gonna start with the chit chats. I'm sure a lot of people, so I'll keep looking down because I've put everything that I'm gonna need for today over here. So I'm gonna keep looking down every now and then, and I'm gonna be using my mirror. So basically, I had started my YouTube channel, and it was great for the time being because I thought to myself, this is what I really want to do, and it is what I really want to do, and it was what I really wanted to do at the time. And it was going great, the first couple of weeks, and then I didn't realize that, I didn't really have a plan per se as to, what my YouTube channel was really about, and I hadn't structured things out properly, meaning, and at the time I was working, and I was working at a really messed up place. So I think it also, added onto my stress. So basically, I had been working at a really terrible place, and I was starting to get really frustrated with the place. Well, eventually I quit. Did I quit? I was thinking of quitting, and before I could quit, they fired me. That's exactly what happened. So at the time it was like really tricky, and it was so weird because I used to live 5 minutes away from home, but I never had time to do anything because it was constantly working. Even when I was at home, I was working and all of that. So time to record videos became, more difficult to get or to schedule. And then eventually I just stopped. So I'm sure you can tell the background is different. So after the whole work thing, I got fired, and I stayed there for a couple of months. I used up my savings to pay the rent and all of that, and for my car. And then after a while, it just wasn't working. So, my mom sat me down, and she was like, there's no point in you staying there anymore because you're not working, and you've used up most of your savings to pay rent. Why not come back home and try find something? Because at the time I wasn't finding anything, and I had been, I was selling ladies clothing. I was importing clothing, but I wasn't getting customers as quickly as I needed to get them to, like, keep up with the lifestyle and where I was living and paying for rent and all of that. So it became really difficult for me, and my mom was like, come back home. And I won't even lie, it was the hardest decision I ever had to make because I felt like moving into the place, a lot of people were just like, oh, she's never gonna make it, blah blah blah, the rent is really expensive, this and that, she's paying for a car and all of that. She thinks that living in such an area is gonna be easy and all of that, or adulting as a whole would be easy. So there were a lot of negative vibes from a lot of people that I've cut off now, in terms of me moving. So when I had to actually sit down and be honest with myself and say, listen, maybe it would be wiser for you to move back home, it like really broke me for a while because I just at the time felt like a failure, like, nothing was, working out for me work-wise, business-wise. So I just felt like nothing was coming together. And so, okay, babe, my foundation's there. Sorry, I was looking for my foundation. So it wasn't really working out for me. So, YouTube at the time, to be honest, no offense to anyone, was the last thing on my mind. I just thought to myself, listen, I am not going to record videos after, you know, having to change, you know, my whole life, move out of my place, you know, just, it was really tricky, and I was just really angry all the time. So I stopped with YouTube, and as well as the fact that it is a lot of work. Oh, this is cute. It is a lot of, okay, hold on. It was a lot of work that I, you know, hadn't anticipated. I hadn't anticipated it to be so much work. Yeah, I knew it was a lot of work, especially the editing parts, but I didn't realize how much work it was. Plus, at the time I was working, so it was a lot of work, and I had a lot of work at work. So that's why I stopped. So now, actually, after that, was so upset and left traumatized at the way, you know, things ended with the company, that I just didn't want to work, you know, for anyone ever again. So, okay, let me tell you how they fired me. So basically, you know, they, at the time I was on contract for 3 months, and the deal was that in February, when they, is this even, so in February, when they begin their new financial year, they were gonna take me on as a permanent. But at the time, because they had hired me in October, they would take me on as contract. So because they decided to employ 2 people instead of 1 person for the job, right? And then as time went on, the girl they had employed is like a really, really good friend of mine. Well, at the time, I didn't know her. We met at work, but she is an amazing person. So I found out they'd taken her permanent, and they're taking me on contract instead of what they had said, that they had taken us both on contract. So at the end of so January comes, and now I'm like asking my manager, like, dude, you haven't really said anything about me signing the new contracts and all of that, so what's going on in terms of that? So she's like, oh, okay, cool, yeah, we'll discuss that on Wednesday and whatever. So Wednesday comes, and she's like, so she brings an envelope like into the meeting. So she's like, you know, do you want to be here or whatever, you know, I just want to find out, you know, how you're feeling about the whole thing. And at the time, like, I really didn't want to be there. It was a really toxic environment for me personally. Maybe for other people who worked there or still work there, they don't think that. But for me, it just wasn't. It was terrible waking up in the morning going to work. So I was honest with her, and I was like, actually, you know, don't think I want to be here anymore. And she was like, wait, what? I was like, yeah, you know, I think, you know, it's just, for me, it's not the same anymore. Like, waking up and coming to work, and there's constantly a vibe. And at some point I was told that, you know, we can't speak, me and the lady that I was working with, that we were hired for the same job, we couldn't speak our language anymore. We couldn't speak black, as she termed it. So I was just like, you know, it's getting pettier and pettier. If it's not the language, it's taking breaks together. If it's not this, it's the phone, you know what I mean, using your phone or whatever. So I was like, I actually think maybe it's not, this environment isn't really for me. So she's like, oh, really? And she's sort of like taken aback. And then she's like, well, you know, I've got an envelope here, and it's basically a letter saying we're not going to take you on as permanent, neither are we going to renew your contract, so basically, get the fuck out of here. So I was like, oh, okay. So, you know, at that point, my question was, okay, why would you even ask me if I still want to be here if you've walked in with a letter signed by the MD, you know, releasing me, but then you're still sitting here asking me if I want to be here? So I don't get if she wanted to get the satisfaction of me begging her for the job, or Actually, till this day, I don't know why she took the route she took in terms of like asking me if I want to be there before telling me that actually we had decided already. If you ask me, I think she was just, trying to be mean about the whole situation. But it is what it is. So that's what happened. And then so then, I was like, okay, cool. And she's like, yeah, you still have to, serve notice. You still have to serve your notice and all of that until the end of the month. The end of the month would have been the end of January that year. So I was like, okay, cool. So we go back to the desk. And so she had the meeting with me like after lunch, right? So we go back to the desk, and she sits right across. Sorry. So she sits right across from me. So now I think she was feeling a little bit orcs because I'm still gonna be there, fam, for the entire month. So guys, I had already prepped my face, so that's why I just went straight to the foundation. So it's feeling a little orcs for her because now we have to sit there for the rest of the day, and um we have to sit there for the rest. Sorry, it's my aunt. So we have to sit there for the rest of the day and basically the rest of the month, and it's like only the first week of January. So then she's like, don't you want to go home? I'm like, nope, I don't want to go home. Actually, I want to sit right here because I don't know if she was worried if people were gonna ask like, what did she say or whatever. She was just like, don't you want to go home? I was like, no, actually, I don't want to go home. I have stuff that I need to do. You know what I mean? And then she's like, oh, okay, cool. And then like 10 minutes down the line, she's like, are you sure you don't want to go home? I'm like, hey, boo, this one. I said I don't want to go home. I'm like, no, I don't want to go home. I'm fine, really. And then she's like, oh, okay. That's fine. If you don't want to go home, then you can stay. I was like, yeah, I'm going to stay, like I had said. So then, I think I got orcs for her, and then she was, so then she ended up leaving early, right? She packed her stuff and she left. And then the next day, so I come into work, normally, because as far as I know, I'm serving my notice, like she, had said. So, how I go to work the next day, and it's awkward out of nowhere. Like, the MD comes in. She goes straight to the MD because they were friends. She goes to his office and they have a conversation. I don't know about what. Well, at the time I didn't know what it was about, but like now I know. And so then afterwards, she basically comes out, sits down, and she can't even look at me in the eye. So I'm like, okay, like what's this about? And then the MD guy comes out and he's like, listen guys, we want to make an announcement, whatever. So everybody in the office, it was like an open plan kind of situation. So everybody's like, okay, yeah, what's up, what's going on? And he's like, oh, Google won't be working with us anymore. We've decided not to renew her contract for many reasons. I'm sitting there completely baffled. Like, is this how, when you guys decide to hire somebody, did you guys have a whole announcement as to why you're hiring me? Now that you're having like a whole announcement as to why you're firing me, I was like, okay, this is petty on another level. I thought I knew what petty was, sis, until I met those people. So I keep kind of like, okay, it's whatever. And then like, so he's like, yeah, so basically after lunch you guys won't be seeing her anymore, whatever. So she's just gonna leave. She's just gonna like pack her belongings, leave our laptop behind. I'm thinking, I have a whole laptop at home, so this leave her laptop behind. I mean, is that supposed to cut deep? Because I'm confused. But anyway, I'm like, listen, it's whatever. So then they're like, no, leave your laptop behind. So I'm like, listen, I have my personal things on this laptop, like, you know, login details for my stuff. So as soon as I'm done getting rid of my stuff, I will leave your laptop behind and get the fuck out of here. So he's like, oh, okay, cool, no problem and stuff. And I think a lot of people didn't like the way they did things because it just left the whole room sort of sour. And I was like, listen, you think you are trying to mess me up or make me feel some type of way, but like the people that still have to work here are actually looking at you like, but when in the history of letting somebody go have there been announcements like this or whatever and all of it. So anyway, that's what happened with them, and I left, and then I moved back home, and then after moving back home, I basically, you know, started a business. Um, Again, I had to start over, but I decided to go for males. I started traveling to get clothes for them, um, and eventually it moved to me styling, um, personal shopping, and getting and importing items for them basically. Um, so that's what I do now. So it's basically gonna be the reason as to why in many of my vlogs that are gonna come up, my vlogs, well, you'll see when I do vlogs that I won't be home. I'll be up and down moving around shopping for stuff, specifically for my clients, and not being home. So now I travel a lot, and when I don't travel a lot, I have a lot of free time. So that's why I think it would be the perfect time for me to for me to continue with my YouTube channel, because now there's more time for me to do that on a personal, well, during my personal free time. So that's basically what's been happening in terms of an update on my life and how things have been going, and the fact that I'm back. I would love to upload every Thursday. That's what I'm trying to do. I haven't really decided on the day for sure. So Thursday isn't cast in stone, but I'm loving a Thursday. It's looking good for me. And yeah, I'm hoping to grow, and you know, thank you to everybody that has, oh, something's in my eye, that had subscribed when I had started, to everybody that was still subscribing when I wasn't even on YouTube anymore, asking questions. I think that also made me want to come back. Like, listen, I took this video ages ago and people are still asking me questions, meaning especially the hair one, like the how to wash your weave or something along, I can't remember what I named it, but I'll link it down in the description box. People were still asking me questions about it, so I was like, listen, clearly I did something right for that particular video, and that was the one that keeps getting comments and all of that. So I was like, listen, if people are still, there's seriously something in my eye. I don't know what it is actually. Yeah, so that particular video actually, you know, had me thinking about going back to YouTube, because I was like, I swear this thing is still irritating me, but hopefully it'll come on. Yeah, so I was like, you know, maybe I should go back to YouTube and, you know, try my luck, and not do it because, you know, so many people are doing it, but do it because it was something I really loved doing, and now that I have time to do it, I really want to get into it again, um, and you know, help people if I can, or if you can just help one person in your life every day or at some point in your life, then you've done something, you've achieved something. So that was my thinking in terms of going back to YouTube. Get this spray. I can't find my Rimmel fixing spray, so I'm going to use the Essence Instamatte makeup setting spray with Evermatte. It's oil free, which is good, and it's non-sticky and light weight. I use it a lot because out of nowhere I started having oily skin, so let's see. So with that being said, I'm going to use this Maybelline Vivid Heart Liqueur. So it's from the color Sensual collection, and the color is number 62, and it's called Charmer. I like it because when you initially put it on, don't get afraid, it looks a little weird. You see, but then when it dries really well, especially because, listen, I'm sure you can tell, my big lips. So I'm not particularly a fan of shiny lips and all of that. So when this dries, it dries very natural. It doesn't leave like a very glossy kind of vibe to it. So yeah, that's it. I saw that I hadn't blended in this part properly, so I did on the side. But it's looking much better than initially, and I think the scissors were also helped. Yeah, so please subscribe to my channel. I'd love to create more videos for you. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, well, yeah. So anyway, please don't forget to subscribe, and please drop a comment below if you've had like similar experiences with work where you haven't fired the way I was fired, or you know, you just were at a point in your life where, you know, you just thought it was all over and something happened in your life and changed all of that for you. Then please I'd love to hear about it, because at the time I know I thought I was going through the most alone. Other people hadn't felt all the pain that I had felt. Look, I was just in my feelings. So maybe if you drop a comment, you might just be somebody's you might just open up somebody's eyes to the fact that, listen, things happen and you can move on from it, and you can grow, and you can just, you know, better your life. So don't forget, ladies and gents, because I know like a couple of my customers actually watch my videos, and gents, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Oh, this baby hen one. Yeah, don't forget to subscribe, and I think I'm just gonna type normally, not like in a bun. And what else? Oh yes, and I'm gonna be posting more regular, as I'd said. So thank you very much for watching. Mwah. And I'll also take a picture of what I look like today. Mwah. So with that being said, I'm going to use this Maybelline Vivid Heart Liqueur. So it's from the color Sensual collection, and the color is number 62, and it's called Charmer. I like it because when you initially put it on, don't get afraid, it looks a little weird. You see, but then when it dries really well, especially because, listen, I'm sure you can tell, my big lips. So I'm not particularly a fan of shiny lips and all of that. So when this dries, it dries very natural. It doesn't leave like a very glossy kind of vibe to it. So yeah, that's it. I saw that I hadn't blended in this part properly, so I did on the side. But it's looking much better than initially, and I think the scissors were also helped. Yeah, so please subscribe to my channel. I'd love to create more videos for you. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, well, yeah. So anyway, please don't forget to subscribe, And please drop a comment below if you've had like similar experiences with work, where you haven't fired the way I was fired, or you know, you just were at a point in your life where, you know, you just thought it was all over and something happened in your life and changed all of that for you. Then please just, I'd love to hear about it, because at the time I know I thought I was going through the most alone. Other people hadn't felt all the pain that I had felt. Look, I was just in my feelings. So maybe if you drop a comment, you might just be somebody's you might just open up somebody's eyes to the fact that, listen, things happen and you can move on from it, and you can grow, and you can just, you know, better your life. So don't forget, ladies and gents, because I know like a couple of my customers actually watch my videos, and gents, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Oh, this baby hen one. Yeah, don't forget to subscribe, and I think I'm just gonna type normally, not like in a bun. And what else? Oh yes, and I'm gonna be posting more regular, as I'd said. So thank you very much for watching. Mwah. And I'll also take a picture of what I look like today. Mwah.